come grab a seat and enjoy Lunch Without Lunch. Hope everyone's having a great summer. And thank you for joining us in person and online. I'm Amber Rowden. I'm the community storyteller at Rainforest Alberta. Hello, hello, welcome. Come grab a seat. Great to see everyone. If you are new to Rainforest, please raise your hand. Hello, people are trickling in. It's great to see everyone in person. If you're new to Rainforest online, please share an emoji, drop it in the chat. I want to start off with an introduction to the Rainforest and a land acknowledgement. So next slide, please. So I love this video that Platform Calgary has shared with us. It's by the Calgary Film Festival and the Rosa Foundation.
My grandma always told me that the land took care of us, and it still is taking care of us, and it never asks for anything back.
It is a way of life to always honor the environment. It's not something that you just can turn on and off. It's a living, daily lifestyle.
And that acknowledgement is a way to acknowledge that we're coexisting in this land with the native people, and we should acknowledge that this is actually their traditional territory. But at the same time, we are all guests to this land.
The land plays a big factor in who we are. That's what makes us strong. That's what makes us strong people.
Awesome. Yeah, I absolutely love that video by the Calgary Film Festival and the Rosa Foundation. You can check it out on YouTube. I also want to share a land acknowledgement for those that are in Edmonton online. We acknowledge the traditional lands of the Treaty 6 territory of the Cree, Dene, Blackfoot, Saulteaux, Nakota Sioux, as well as the Métis. And if you're residing somewhere else in the world, Canada or Alberta online, please share your own land acknowledgement in the chat. And I always forget that I can come to the middle. I don't know why I always hover in the corner like a creep. But now I want to share a rainforest video with you to share what rainforest is all about.
What does it take to realize an idea? Or for a seed to sprout? At Rainforest Alberta, we know the answer is rooted in trust. Traditionally, Albertans have cultivated their ideas in established systems. Inputs that don't fit these systems are weeded out. Opportunities for growth are missed. But now, Albertans want a dynamic landscape that can evolve organically, like a rainforest. At Rainforest Alberta, we believe a culture of trust is the fertile soil where ideas grow. Our budding innovation ecosystem is a network of relationships pulling each other up as they push forward in their own field. Trust breaks down barriers. An open, inclusive network increases collaborative innovation. Successful breakthroughs inspire new ideas. A cycle begins. Rainforest Alberta is a movement to amplify trust by cultivating honesty, inclusion, and accountability. How? Our social contract holds us accountable to demonstrate trust across the province. We meet to have honest conversations around collaboration. This leads to more inclusive spaces for everyone to fearlessly build new ideas, together. By raising the standard of trust, Alberta's ideas, talent, and resources can be evergreen. Visit rainforestab.ca to sign the social contract and start growing together.
All right, next slide, please. So we use 6 pillars to guide our conversations and action. Not all are weighted equally. Like any ecosystem, the right balance is crucial. We measure these each year through our scorecard assessment. So culture is the heavily weighted pillar in the ecosystem, or at Rainforest, and we measure that at 30%. Next slide. So a little bit of housekeeping. More of these are for people online, but introduce yourself in the chat online. We'll introduce ourselves in person here a little bit later on. When you introduce yourself to someone, just ask how you can pay it forward and how someone can pay it forward for you, what you're looking for. Talk about what our awesome guest speakers talking about today. Connect with people in direct messages, and of course our chats will be captured in the lunch space, in the Slack workspace, and our recordings are posted on YouTube. Next slide. And each week we highlight a new social contract value, and this week it is listening. So I will bring people together and listen, as none of us are as smart as all of us. I believe in the big tent. I believe we gain strength through diversity. So going forth today and this week, think about how you can listen to each other instead of offering your ideas all the time. It's always good to listen to other people. And if you're interested in signing the social contract, the 10 values are here. It's a little blocked by the table, I know, but I'm happy to talk about those with anyone that wants to talk about that. So I'm going to introduce our awesome guest speaker for today. And today we are joined by fellow Rainforest Alberta community member, Degan. As a well-known leader in Calgary's innovation ecosystem, Al has a background in computer science with a diverse career working as a software developer, business analysis, and project manager. He has held various leadership roles, started multiple entrepreneurial ventures, and is the creator and producer of the amazing Leaders, Innovators, and Big Ideas podcast, Rainforest Alberta. And a quick plug, new episode drops every Tuesday, so check it out, listen, subscribe. It's really an awesome podcast. Recognizing a gap in the industry where graduates from bootcamp programs lack experience to get hired, Al created New Idea Machine, a company that provides mentored hands-on experience to new developers to better prepare them for their future career positions with other software companies. To tell us more, I'm gonna invite Al to the stage. Please give him a round of applause.
Thanks, Amber. First of all, thank you all for being here. It really melts my heart to see all kinds of friends and family here, because I consider my close friends family. Okay, cool. So I want to start out, first of all, telling you a little bit about my rainforest journey. Back in 2018, my wife and I decided we were going to start a small business. And she was looking online because she's really, really smart. And she said, we've got to get out there and network. And so she came across Rainforest Alberta. I had no idea it even existed. But in my past, I had been part of the Chamber of Commerce and tried my best to network because I knew it was important. But when I first went to my first Rainforest event, it was actually in person in the giant ballroom over at the Oddfellows building. And I couldn't believe how many people were there. And when back in those days, we used to have all the new people come up and stand at the front of the room and introduce themselves and what they were doing. And I was just like, oh, this is amazing. So I told them what we were trying to do. And it was like, these are my people. Like as soon as we broke into the networking section, people were running over and handing me their cards, and we were having all these great conversations. And I'm like, this is every week? Oh my gosh. So I started going like every week. I missed very few over the years. And along the way, back when Mackenzie Bedford was the community manager, I was saying to her, because I used to do a podcast, and I thought, you know what, the Rainforest should have a podcast. And she's like, yeah, go do it. And that's what the Rainforest is all about, right? It's not just saying you should do this, you should do that. It's about, hey, how can I help? And so, as you guys all know, hopefully the Rainforest podcast has been a great success, because what I did at the beginning is I said, I want this to be a community podcast. I'm not going to take all the glory. I want the community itself to be the hosts that are interviewing other people in the community. So every episode has a different host. I do some of them, and other people do some of them. It's been really successful. We just, I think, was it 186 or 185 or 186 dropped yesterday morning. So there's a lot of episodes and a lot of great stories to hear. What I do want to talk about is the rainforest itself has birthed, is that the right word? Birthed a lot of really exciting businesses here in Calgary. Inception U is one of those companies that came together through the rainforest. And also my new company, New Idea Machine, is a direct result of the rainforest. So I'm going to start talking about New Idea Machine, but before I do that, I want to bribe you all. So who likes jujubes? Please open, share, pass them around. There you go. So then you'll be on a sugar rush, your brains will be going, and you'll be ready to listen and be part of this. So first thing I want to talk about is slightly off topic. If you're looking at this and you're going, whoa, is that ever weird? Okay. Well, what I've done is I've used, I got invited to DALL-E, which is a text-to-image artificial intelligence software. And holy moly, was it fun. It's by invite only, so it takes a while to get in, but I got in just before I did my presentation. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna use it. So the first image is when I put in a request for a whole bunch, a painting of a whole bunch of business people standing in the middle of a rainforest, and that's what it drew for me, which I thought was pretty cool. Now I'm going to talk about the problem, why New Idea Machine exists. Okay, so I think most of you have heard this. Sometimes the number is, 2,500. Sometimes it's, 3,000. Sometimes it's. This is the number I got from Calgary Economic Development. So right now, there's 4,300 open tech career opportunities in Calgary alone. So imagine that, right? What's the problem? Well, companies are looking for people with skills and experience. They're looking for something that is a very rare find. And ultimately, the highly skilled and experienced resources are not easy to find. There's not a ton of them around, and the ones that are already working for really, really big dollars. And because of our ability to work remotely, senior developers and stuff are working for Silicon Valley and places in Europe, and your little Calgary startup isn't going to be something that interests them unless they have ulterior reasons than money. Oh, by the way, I absolutely love this picture. I asked DALL-E to give me a hacker with bags of money surrounding them, and that's what it came up with, which I thought that was awesome. The other thing is we have, and the government's trying, the government has all these reskilling programs. Inception U is one of the funded programs by the government where they take people who are pivoting their career from whatever they were doing before into tech. And these programs are brilliant, but the problem is that when people graduate from those programs, all the companies are looking for senior and experienced developers. So how do we solve that problem? We definitely need a solution, and that's where New Idea Machine comes in, okay? So ultimately, at the core, we're a custom software development company, but more than that, we only work with junior developers out of these boot camp and short form programs. So right now today, we're partnered with Inception U, SATE, Lighthouse Labs, and EdgeUp, which is the Calgary Economic Development Program. The students coming out of that program, the learners, they have the opportunity now. There's a couple great things, so the left-hand side of this is we're a custom software development company. The goal is to find paying clients who want software built. We use junior developers to build the software, guided by industry experienced and leading mentors who can support them and give them guidance and do code reviews and all that sort of thing. The other side of our company, we can take, or we do volunteer application development. So a good example would be a startup. They've reached that chasm of death where they've got their business plan, they've got everything figured out, they got a bunch of people for their team, and they're standing there going, we need money to make this happen. And all the investors are going, well, once you have your MVP built and you've onboarded 1,000 people and you're starting to earn revenue, come see me and we'll talk about investing in your company. How do you get across that chasm? Well, how about if you had a volunteer team of software developers who are willing to build your software for you, and then once you've got across that chasm, you have your MVP and you've onboarded customers, now you can hire that team and start paying them to continue building your software and grow your company. So that's kind of, so I've broken this down into the basic one. So custom software development for paying clients, junior developers do all the work. Team size is flexible. We have a lot of people available, so we can grow and shrink the team as necessary. We have this concept of rent-a-coder. So maybe if you have a software development team already, but you want to beef it up with 3 or 4 people because you're trying to hit a major deadline or something, then you can borrow some coders for 3 months and then send them back. We also have the weird thing that we do that I haven't seen other software companies do is you could hire everybody in our program at any time. So we don't have a non-competition clause. We have a please hire our people clause. So we are, some people have called us a finishing school. Other people have called us work integrated learning. You can use whatever you want as long as you understand what we're trying to accomplish, which is we're giving people real life hands-on experience working on real projects, whether it's volunteer or paid, they're real projects. So we build teams, we take UI, UX designers, we take product managers, we take software developers, we build teams and we have them build products. And it's real, we use Agile Scrum methodologies and go all the way. Also, because of what we're doing, we can work in your tech stack. So if the learners in their bootcamp or short form program learned a technology that's different than the one that you're using, we can actually teach them and grow them in your actual tech stack, and then you can hire them and they'll be ready to go right after day one. And also, the other important part is, which you probably gathered already, is when we receive paid work, we actually pull out of our volunteer pool to do the paid work. So that's a big important piece. On the volunteer side, as I mentioned, we have product managers, UX designers, and developers. They work on real projects. They regularly track and report their hours, so it's just like a real job. And there's a significant focus on working in teams. So we don't have the Lone Ranger who goes, oh, I'll go off and build that and come back. There's daily meetings where they have to check in with their teams and they have to be a part of a team, and team is really important. They're guided and mentored by industry professionals. We have some amazing partnerships that we're building, like with Duck Labs is a good example, where their senior people are actually helping to mentor the junior teams. So if you are an established developer, UI, UX designer, or product manager, we just recently partnered with Tacit Edge for product management guidance. We have people who are senior UI, UX designers who are also partnering with us. So these new developers, they're not struggling on their own. They actually have an opportunity to reach out and get guidance and mentorship. I already said that we've got the ability for unfunded startups to build their MVP using a volunteer team. And we need your help. So we would like to have course completers. That's the name I came up with, people who graduated from a bootcamp program. Course completers, come check us out. Consider volunteering with us. Think about this. When you leave an educational system, every single day that goes by that you don't have a job, it becomes harder and harder to get a job. We flip that 180 degrees. Every single day that you're with New Idea Machine, your prospects of getting a job become better. And that's the significant message that I want to leave you with, in addition to the fact that we need startups, like unfunded startups who have projects, so that we can give these teams projects to work on. We also need funded projects to keep our doors open, obviously. So if you know of anybody who maybe they already have a software development team, but they have all these little projects and things that they can't get around to because they're not high enough priority, maybe they could give us one of those projects and let one of our teams get actually paid to build that little project. And then if they want, hey, talent funnel, right? If somebody builds a software development or a software project for you and it works out really well and you're happy, maybe you want to hire the people off that team to join your main team, right? And then also, at the very, very least, it'd be really, really awesome if you could share our story, share what we're doing here. It's not about making millions of dollars and becoming a big Microsoft software development company or something, which I wouldn't be upset with, of course. But what it's all about here is people getting jobs. Our success metric is how many people we get through our doors and through our program into a real job, you know, a quote unquote real job. I'm going to share one of my favorite success stories. So we had a learner at Inception U. Her name is Pam. And Pam went through the Inception U program. She used to be a control systems engineer. She went through the Inception U program, learned all about JavaScript and working in teams and agile development. Then she joined New Idea Machine, and she worked with us for, I think, 3 or 4 months. And during her time with us, she had to work on a project using C#, which is it's a language that Inception U didn't teach. Because she learned C# with us and had some experience with us, she got hired at Adabotics, programming their robots. How cool is that? That's my favorite success story, probably because I'm jealous and I would like to work for Adabotics myself. But yeah, that's the real thing. And when we first started up, which was in the fall of last year, early this year, we brought in a graduating class from Inception U of 12. Well, the graduating class was 26 people, I think. 12 of them joined us. And 3 months later, we only had 1 left. 11 of them got jobs. So it's a proven model. It works. It de-risks companies hiring new developers because they already got an opportunity to be proven before they get hired. And yeah, we're here to help. We're here to make a difference. And we would love your support. So together, we can ensure a thriving tech economy in Alberta. Maybe not today, but if we all work together, we can thrive in the future. So thank you very much. Visit newideamachine.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Al. That was fantastic. Does anyone have any questions for Al? I'm going to run you the microphone quickly first.
She's going to get her exercise today.
Thank you. Just curious, having people come out just to learn. I've worked with some people or talked with Inception U and stuff like that. I'm just building. I need some back-end developers for what I'm creating. How long are some of these volunteer programs running for? The University of Calgary's got these kind of 1 week micro things, but to get someone into your stack and learning, understanding what you're doing to be effective, to actually do something for you, how long are these volunteer programs typically going to run for?
So it depends on the program. Lighthouse Labs is a intensive 3-month boot camp. I used to be the general manager for Calgary, and I used to tell people who were thinking of taking the program, say goodbye to your family, your dog. You're basically going to shut down your entire life and focus for 3 months working 12-hour days. And then you'll get through this program and you'll be a new developer. Inception U is actually a 6-month program, but it's full-time. It's 9 to 4 weekdays every day, and a lot of the learners end up putting in more time. Edge Up is also a 6-month program. Each of these programs have capstone projects, but the thing that's a bit weird, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but is the more people, it doesn't matter how many capstone projects you do in an educational institution, companies just look at it as an educational institution and you just did something with your schoolmates and it's not really that serious, right? The difference with us is we're running this as a real software company, and so our projects, whether they're volunteer or not, are real projects. And I should mention, one thing that hasn't happened yet, but I'm really crossing my fingers, is that a volunteer team won't have a startup to build an MVP for, so they'll just come up with a really cool idea, and they'll build it, and then it'll be such a great idea that team actually goes and starts the company and takes that product to market. That would be so cool. Anyway.
Just to follow up with that, would there be an opportunity, because just as a person having experience with people coming in for a bit and then coming out, and just the challenges of getting people brought up to speed, right, that whole thing, and then attrition rate of losing people because of disinterest or something like that, would it be a possibility to almost pitch an idea in front of students to see who might actually like your company and say, I want to build this out for you? And if as a startup we're saying, hey, look, you can build yourself a job. If you can, here's some aspects, if you can build for us, you'll actually create a job because we'll be able to generate revenue from this. Is this something you can see yourself doing long term? Because that's something you would want to kind of just pick those people out.
So I love that you said that, because our leadership team just had a meeting a couple days ago, and we had that exact conversation. We said, let's arrange it so that startups can actually pitch their ideas to the students, or to the, they're not students anymore, they're graduates, but we call them NIMers. When they join NIM, they're NIMers. So if we could have sort of like a regular pitch session where startups could pitch their ideas to the NIMers, I think that would be fantastic. So I'm glad you said that. Anyone else?
Thank you.
Hi, Al.
Hello, hello.
You made it sound very linear. So just quick question. What is one of your biggest obstacles during your time with building the new ID machine?
Thank you. Very good question. Essentially, we have two obstacles that we've come across. The first one we think we found a way to overcome, and that's the onboarding challenge. Last week on Monday, we onboarded 26 new people, and we weren't ready for it. A few of them were sitting around going, hey, are you going to get back to me? Like, what's going on? And so we actually hired Yulia, who's one of the Inception U graduates, and she's actually taking over our onboarding process, and she's learning about how to get everybody up to speed. If they're from Inception U, because I actually am part-time tech facilitator at Inception U, so I actually know all the students, so when they want to come in, it's not too big of a deal. But with the Edge Up program and SAIT and Lighthouse Labs, I've never met the people before, so we need to have a conversation first. So Yulia ends up actually having a telephone conversation with them and seeing what they're all about and what makes them get excited in the morning and all that kind of stuff. And then we move them into an onboarding process that we're currently in the middle of refining. Yeah. Does that help? Thank you. Sir. Yeah, great question, great question. So first things first, everyone that joins us, volunteer or companies or anything, we all do mutual NDA agreements. So that part of it is dealt with. When it comes to cybersecurity, I make no, like I'm a very transparent, honest person, and so is my team. We do not, what's the word I'm looking for? We don't suggest to people that they're going to have a bulletproof banking quality level of software. If somebody needs that level of security, we need to take what the juniors built and have cybersecurity experts go through it. And so if it was like a project for RBC or somebody like that who needs to have really, really bulletproof security, we would want to take that product and go through the proper channels with the proper experts who are able to do that. But the cool thing is that's a piece of work that needs to be done. It's not like a full-time, it's not something that has to happen for months and months and months. It's sort of like a process. Kind of like getting privacy for storing people's credit cards. You have to go through that process or whatever. It's like $20,000 or $30,000 and then it's done. And then you just have to do it each year or whatever. So yeah, anything additional that would need to be done along those lines would be done separately, as like we would outsource to a security company. And we do have some partners in that field that can come in and help out. So hopefully that makes sense. We're working with new developers, right? So even with senior mentorship, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's not going to be some holes here and there. So we have to be careful with that. Okay.
We have a question from online.
Okay.
Ryan asks, do you see a lot of interest, clients or program attendees in game development?
Yes, actually. The sales process that I've learned over the years for software development projects is actually a long process. It's not, you don't have a coffee and then somebody signs up. It's sometimes like months and months of negotiating and contract stuff. But what's really, really cool is so far, pretty much every single company that's come to me to talk about working with us has brought us on board. It turns out that a lot of companies actually love what we're doing and they actually want to be able to give back in some way. You can go out and hire any software development company to build your software, but if you could also, in the same respect, give back to the ecosystem, it's actually a nice little win. You know, working with new developers is obviously going to be cheaper than working with senior developers, but then things can also take a little bit longer and be a little bit more clunky. So people need to understand that, right? Like we're not making, we're not lying and saying that we're going to build the most amazing software that you've ever seen in the world. We can do that. It will take a little bit longer, and there'll be a little some bumps along the way. So, and the companies that we've been talking to seem to totally get that. I don't want to name drop and whatever, but there's a few big companies we're currently talking about, and they're talking to us because of what we're doing, not because we build software. They're actually trying to find a way to work with us, which is really, really exciting. That really makes me happy. So thanks for the question.
We have another one from online from Jen from Inception U.
Jen. She said she was going to heckle me, so I'm waiting for this one.
What are the skills you are seeing as the greatest need with filling those 4,300 roles that you spoke about? Any particular areas that you see here employees are seeking, and how is NIM helping with those gaps? And then she led with a follow-up, and with skills I'm referring to technical and essential.
Yes. One of the things that we've learned through, especially through the Inception U program, is that companies are not just looking for people with technical skills. They're looking for people. That ability to be part of a team and that ability to be a culture fit for the organization is almost more important. I've heard a number of companies say, actually Helsum is one that said the technical stuff can be taught. What they're looking for is they're looking for a great fit with a person who's got the problem solving skills and the growth mindset. And so, thanks, Jen, that's a really good point. I mean, when people leave these new programs, they're more than just a developer or an UI UX designer. They're actually someone who has not only experience, because remember, most of these people are career pivoters, right? Some people have worked in the oil and gas industry as an engineer or whatever for like 15 years, and now they're pivoting their career so they're a junior developer, but they have tons of experience. We have people from the finance industry. We have people who used to be like Red Seal chefs and airline pilots and stuff. Like it's amazing. These aren't high school students that are getting their first job. This is real adult professionals who are pivoting their career, and that's an important piece to keep in mind. When you're looking to hire somebody, if you think in your mind, oh, junior, you're thinking about high school person, learned how to do this stuff, and now they're getting their first job. No. You're hiring an experienced professional who's now added a new skill set to their repertoire. And that's really, really powerful. I mean, you think of people who have a background in finance. Hey, Neo, why not hire a new developer that actually has background in finance? That might be really valuable, right? So that's a really good question.
Awesome. Do we have any other questions for Al?
Hi, Al. Pete LaFontaine here. Nice to see you again.
Likewise.
This is not a question as much as it's just an absolute endorsement for what Al's doing. And to let you know that this is a genuine guy that knows what he's doing, cares about what he's doing, is helping other people's lives improve, follows all of the spirit of the Rainforest contract. And so I'm just very appreciative of having somebody like you involved in this organization. So it's so good to have you here, and thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you, Pete. That means a lot. I appreciate that. Thank you all. Thank you. Oh. Can we connect after and talk about that? Because we're really flexible, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to make rising tide raises all ships. We're trying to find a way to make things work, and so you know, whatever the startup's means are, we can try and work within that. I can't have volunteers working for free when the company is earning money from the results of their spoils, but we can find a way to make things work out. I'm sure we can. There's also job grants and things like that that we can help with. Carol's son is also one of my business partners, and Carol's really knowledgeable about the whole granting thing, and we have other partners who can help with granting and stuff like that as well. So keep that in mind. Let's have a conversation, figure out how we can help you.
Awesome. Well, on that note, thank you so much, Al. It was so great to have you here.
Thank you.
Big round of applause. As Pete said, Al really does embody all of the 10 values of the Rainforest social contract. He's a pleasure to have in the community, always helping, giving back. So yeah, thank you so much for being here today. I also want to give a big shout out and thank you to Platform for having us, and to Mike and Michaela for doing an awesome job on the tech as always. Thank you. Before we go into networking, I just want to open up the floor for community announcements. Obviously, listen to the Libby podcast. New episode every Tuesday. It's Pride Week. If you are celebrating Pride or you want to celebrate Pride, Sunday there will be a parade viewing party here at Platform. We invite you to come join, watch the parade, celebrate, and come join the festivities after at Fort Calgary. If there are any other community announcements, please raise your hand. I'll bring you the microphone. Good question. It is, I believe it's 10, but the parade starts at 11. But I'll post the details in the Slack as well. Do we have any other announcements? No? Okay. If there are any other announcements, please feel free to share them in the Slack. If you're not connected to the Slack, please sign the social contract. If it resonates with you, you'll get access to the Slack. If you don't gain access to the Slack, please reach out to me and I will help you with that. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone for coming. And yeah, feel free to network. Try and meet someone you've never met before. I know that can be sometimes scary and awkward. I'm awkward myself, but maybe start with an interesting fact. I wear this dinosaur shirt just so like it can spark conversations and be like, hey, look at this dinosaur shirt I'm wearing. But yeah, thank you again, everyone, for coming. Enjoy, connect, have fun, and yeah, we'll see you at the next Lunch Without Lunch.